Muy buenas noches, chavales, ¿qué tal estáis? Vamos a ver el evento de Forza Let's Go, el episodio 7, que ha tenido lugar hoy, que estamos a martes 7. Ha sido a las 7 de la tarde, lo único que no lo he podido reaccionar en directo por cosas varias, ¿no? Entonces, lo voy a reaccionar ahora en directo, no sé nada de lo que han enseñado, es decir, cero, no tengo ni idea de lo que van a mostrar, así que es como si fuera un falso directo, por así decirlo. Y vamos a ver qué nos muestran de Forza Horizon 5. La verdad es que ya nos han mostrado un montón de contenido en los otros eventos que han hecho y tal. Pero queremos más. ¿Por qué sí? Porque no está de más que nos enseñen, pues, oye, un poquito más de qué va a ser este Forza Horizon 5. Que recuerdo que sale en noviembre. Por cierto, poco se está hablando de los pelitos que os traigo hoy, ¿eh? Madre de Dios, vaya pelitos, que me acabo de duchar. Y es lo que tiene. Pero bueno, vamos a empezar con el vídeo, pero como siempre recordaros que si no estáis suscritos ya os podéis suscribir, seguirme en Twitter, uniros en mi canal de Discord, podéis apoyarme si queréis por 0,99 haciendo miembros. Todo lo tenéis ahí en la descripción, pero lo más importante es que le deis me gusta a este vídeo. Eso sí que es importante. Darle me gusta no por el vídeo, sino por estos pelitos. Mirad, estos pelitos no me digáis que no se merecen un me gusta como Dios manda. No me digáis que no se lo merecen. Pero bueno, señores, dale me gusta y ahora que le habéis dado me gusta, que os he visto que le habéis dado, vamos a empezar a ir ya con el directo. Pues bueno, señores, ya estamos aquí, vamos a empezar a ver el evento, por supuesto. Me he puesto en esta posición porque luego los comentaristas se pondrán justo encima mío y así pues se cuadra todo un poco, ¿no? Con la imagen, así que vamos a ir allá. Y a ver qué nos cuentan.
And welcome to another episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go, live with Playground Games. Today we're going on quite the epic adventure, the Horizon adventure in fact, but first, let's do the schedule.
Vale, cronograma.
So don't let this schedule fool you because there is a whole lot of new gameplay to see as Playground takes
Solo hay dos cosas para enseñar hoy, que es la campaña de single player. La campaña single player y, por supuesto, el tema de las preguntas de la comunidad, como cada episodio, ¿no? Que lo hacen. No sé si bajar esto un poco. Vale, yo creo que mejor, supongo, no sé. Señor Mike, ya tenemos ahí a Mike. Mike es un ídolo en este canal, ¿eh? A Mike en este canal se le respeta. Son las oficinas de Forza Horizon.
From the Fable office on the other side of Leamington Spa. The reasons for that are boring. We won't get into those. But yeah, this is actually the Forza Horizon office. This is where we actually make the game.
We're in the home of Forza now, and joining you on the sofa today is the lovely Ben Thaker-Fell. Ben, what are we going to be seeing today then?
Hey Charlie, so today we're going to be doing a deep dive on the single-player campaign for Forza Horizon 5. Really excited to show that off.
Tengo ganas de ver el tema de la campaña, a ver qué propone para el tema de la campaña. Tengo muchas ganas de ver cuál es la premisa. A ver, tampoco esperemos una campaña súper compleja porque no deja de ser un Forza Horizon. Se basará en ganar carreras y eso, pero... ¿Hay música en la calle? ¿Por qué? Voy a cerrar un poco la ventana, no sé. Suena música en la calle, no sé por qué.
I can't wait. And I feel like I have to ask, purely based on his performance on the last stream, between you and Andy, who would win in a race? Real talk.
I'm going to say him, but I'm lying, so it's fine.
Well, you had me in the first half. Wonderful. Well, as I said, on the last show, if you were able to catch it, we showed the initial drive and the very first showcase event.
Correcto, en el anterior evento, que también está en el canal, si no lo habéis visto, irlo a ver, mostraron el tema de la primera exhibición, que es la que te presenta el juego y tal. Con esos aviones que llegaban con los coches cayendo en paracaídas y tal.
Ben, should we jump in? Yes. So, but first, we are going to look at the campaign. I've got a controller. I'm going to walk through things. But let me talk about the setup first. Really, like, what is the campaign in Forza Horizon 5?
So, its name, nice and simple, Horizon Adventure. And that's exactly kind of how we think about it internally, and I'm sure that's how players are going to really remember this one. It's all about freedom. It's all about the choice of doing what you want, when you want. Previous kind of Horizon campaigns,
Eso es importante, hacer lo que quieras cuando
We're
quieras.
going to do this gameplay now, road racing, because we think that's the best at this stage in the game. And now you're going to do some cross-country or some off-road, or we're going to introduce skills and stories.
Una campaña que te lleva un poco por todos los tipos de modalidad, ¿no? Campo a través, carretera. Y parece ser, según lo que comenta, que la configuración inicial va a ser muy importante, ¿no? Para el tema de la campaña. Porque va a personalizar un poco lo que te va a hacer que hagas, ¿no? Horizon Adventure, ya lo pone ahí en el...
And to get to the Hall of Fame, you have to earn something called accolades, and we'll go into those in a second. But let's have a look at the adventure screen really quickly, because this is one of my favorites. Look at that.
Oh,
how cool does that look?
Colorful.
Qué bonito, tú. Qué bonito. Voy a hacer una cosa, voy a bajarme un poquito, así, para cuadrarlo mejor. Ahí, un poquito. A ver. Ahora perfecto, tú. Qué bonito, tú. Qué guay.
Loads going on. Let's have a quick walk through. I mean, I'm getting distracted. Balloons at the top there, cable car, blimp, cars.
We were really excited to see the game map. And we were like, yeah, we'll show you the game map. And we were holding this in the bag. This is we showed the game map ages
I mean, chat
ago,
has just exploded with the words, it looks amazing, it's cute, they love it, so clean. So nice work from chat immediately.
Right, let's have a look at what you can do. When I speak about going on an adventure and giving players the tools to like unlock the gameplay they want and tell us how they want to play through the campaign, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. We've got Horizon Baja, that's the home of cross-country racing. You unlock this, you unlock the cross-country racing. You'll unlock a ton of other gameplay opportunities as well. Not immediately with that, you'll have to kind of expand that outpost when you do. I can show you a good example. We've already built Horizon Festival Mexico. I mean, technically it was built when we arrived. We're not the architects of that. But let's have a look at the gameplay that's available there. So we've arrived at the festival site. We now have a nice tick for Welcome to Mexico. You've already seen and we took part in that amazing showcase on a wing and a prayer. Car versus plane, but with a twist.
Fijaros, tendremos como diferentes boletos con diferentes misiones y diferentes cosas que hacer, ¿no? Por ejemplo, en este boleto, que es el del festival, por así decirlo, es Welcome to Mexico. Has llegado al festival con estilo y luego el tema de la carrera, ¿no? De que has ganado, bueno, o que has competido en una carrera contra un avión. Y luego hay un par de misiones más, como podéis ver aquí, que es encuentra y restaura un coche legendario. Y luego de Goliath, el Goliath, que es, por así decirlo, el evento Ultimate del Festival de México, ¿no? Conforme vayamos haciendo las misiones o las tareas, pues se nos irán poniendo tics, ¿vale? Y supongo que cuando completemos el boleto, pues se nos desbloqueará pues otra parte o lo que sea. Si os fijáis aquí en el mapa este hay cosas que están a color, ¿veis? Que es esto y esto, que es lo que tenemos completado en el boleto, no sé si os estáis dando cuenta. Y luego tenemos cosas que están en gris, que son las dos cosas que nos quedan por hacer, ¿no? Que sería el tema de encontrar el coche legendario y el tema del Goliath, que lo tenemos aquí y aquí. Cuando completemos esta zona, pues entiendo que tendremos que ir completando otra zona y así ir completando, por así decirlo, la aventura. Pero vamos a dejar que lo expliquen, pero vamos, yo creo que es esa la idea.
And we can unlock a story called Vocho, which is finding and restoring a legendary car. Desperately not trying to unlock that right now because it is great. And the Goliath, right? What Horizon game is complete without an epic, many miles long race around the map? So you can do all of that at the main festival. And each one of those we call a new chapter. So earning enough accolades unlocks a new chapter, and I can choose to kind of spend my
Ahí está. Cuando completes las tareas desbloqueas un nuevo capítulo, que es lo que está diciendo, que es lo que yo os estaba comentando. Tío, se me descuadra esto y no sé por qué. Voy a bajar esto un poco. O voy a subir esto así un poquito. Ahí. Aquí. Y me subo esto así. Vale, ya está.
you might say you've opened up the Apex Festival and you've gone and got stuck into road racing, and that will shape the way your game plays out for a decent length of time after that. But maybe I go to the Wilds Festival and I've gone all dirt racing, and again, that makes that next hour, 2 hours of my game completely different to yours. And the opportunities
Vale, cada festival o cada boleto de estos, por lo que está diciendo, tiene que ver con el tipo de carreras que están dentro de él, ¿no?
Yeah, and not just based on kind of choice of I really like road racing or I like dirt racing, but there's different ways that people like to play games as well. Some people, they'll want to open Horizon Apex, and then because they're kind of a completionist, they'll be like, well, I'm doing all of the content there before I move on. Whereas some other people they'll open Apex, then they'll open Wilds, then they'll open Baja, then they'll open Rush.
Vale, sí, lo que están diciendo es que, claro, cada uno podrá jugar como quiera. Habrá gente que querrá completar un boleto, por así decirlo, del tirón y luego irse a otro. Y luego habrá otra gente que dirá, pues mira, hago una tarea de aquí, hago una tarea de allí y vas completando la aventura un poco como tú quieras, a tu medida, ¿no? Es lo que están comentando. ¿Prueba? Vale.
Hands up, I do know what accolades are. So, as you can see at the top of the screen there, it tells us how many we need to earn for our next chapter. So we're going to go into the accolades menu, and we are going to see tons of categories, and really importantly, thousands of accolades.
Madre mía, a quien le guste completar actividades y elogios se va a hartar, ¿eh? Fíjate, 3 de 35, 0 de 54, 0 de 104, 0 de 83, 0 de 67.
It might be that you like to do a bunch of racing and you like to do some PR stunts and some skills as well.
Madre mía.
Like to do just kind of online stuff.
Online, 0 de 330 elogios.
That's the kind of beauty.
Qué barbaridad.
And they extend beyond the campaign. So once you've reached the Hall of Fame, so you've unlocked everything on the adventure map, and you might think, oh, what else is there to do? Accolades are this beautiful way of having this collection of bite-sized challenges that let you kind of mop up the things that you still haven't done and just extend your game. And I think we'll extend it in the ways we have done with FORZA Horizon 4, where we're delivering new content on like a weekly and kind of monthly basis. These will plug into this really well.
Yeah, so it's not super clear as we look at the screen right now, but that little blue bar that you can see just creeping up on the Welcome to Mexico tile there, that is actually a progress bar that fills up and completes the whole thing and completes that whole page. As we stand right now, about half an hour into our campaign, you can see that it's basically all zeros and we haven't done anything yet. And it does at the start of the game fill up quite slowly, but once you've put in that sort of 6 to 10 hours, these all start to get quite near the top, and you're like looking at that Horizon Stories one, going, oh, I've actually got a few left there, and it's super competitive.
Sí, que básicamente conforme vayas jugando lo vas a ir completando, lo que están diciendo. Ahora mismo llevan 30 minutos de juego y claro, está todo a cero, como es lógico, pero conforme vayas jugando, vayas completando carreras, todo se va a ir completando, ¿no?
Many locked accolades. And we need to go and build the Horizon Apex outpost. So let's go and do that. Welcome to Mexico is a nice small collection of kind of early game accolades. We have a few, like we've arrived at the festival. We can purchase a car from the auto show. We can also take part in a bunch of routes. If I select this one now, it will pin it to my HUD and set my route, and we can drive to go and do that. But before we kind of go back into game, I'm going to open the map just to explain that one of the main ways to play through a Horizon campaign is to go around and look at things on the map. And I think early campaign, we would expect many players to go through this is the kind of regular Horizon way. Map, piece of content, set your route there, take part in the content. What are you going to do next? Let's take part in this, and we'll go there and do it. But if I go back to free roam now, we can see that we have a pin, Horizon Mexico Circuit Rookie, complete Mexico Circuit, and I think we should head off and do it.
Let's go. Right. Take it away.
So Ben's put his controller down now. He's going to stop meddling with...
Vale, o sea, los elogios y eso, si me ha quedado claro, podrás podrás poner pins para tenerlos localizados y poder hacerlos. Aparte de lo, por supuesto, poner un pin en alguna parte del mapa o lo que sea, de decir, mira, quiero hacer esto, pum, pones la ruta y vas. Bueno, esto parece que es lo mismo, ¿no? Que es competir contra la máquina en solo. Luego está el tema del Rivals, que es como el contrarreloj.
So which is the festival we're going to see then? This is the main one.
at the Horizon Festival Mexico, and it is without question our best festival yet. It's got some amazing features. It's got a drag strip running through the middle of it. It's got an awesome hangout car meet space, which is called the Horizon Tour. You can go out there, you can show off your cars, you can show off your cool liveries, hang out with the people and group up and go and do some racing. It's also built into an abandoned racing circuit.
No sé si subir el audio un poquito más.
Like sort of web of roads that you can see now is an awesome abandoned race circuit, or at least it was abandoned until Horizon Festival arrived to breathe fresh life into it. And now, Marco, I'll let you do it now, Marco. If you're going to go drive over to the start location for the Horizon Festival circuit.
Qué pasada, ¿no? Este coche por dentro. Es como súper futurista.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the best way.
Corvette in its natural habitat there, going across
absolutely fine.
the embankment.
It's a bit bumpy. There you go. Arrive there.
All right, and here is our target. This is where we're going to go and get accolades so we can start our adventure.
Yes. So
Ahí está. Lo que ha hecho ha sido pinguear, por así decirlo, el elogio que era completar el circuito de México o algo así, y lo que ha hecho ha sido ir hasta el circuito, completar la carrera para completar el elogio. Es lo que están haciendo, ¿no? Que puedes pinguear los elogios e ir haciendo un poquito para ir desbloqueándolos, básicamente. Pero pingueándolos y llevándote hacia el evento, ¿no? Que completa ese elogio. Sé que me explico fatal, pero es lo que hay.
Well, he really struggled in rehearsal. So.
I know. Do we admit that our finely tuned campaign balance requires a win? Otherwise,
the way that we have set this up for the demo purposes, yes.
No pressure,
anything
guys,
less than a win will actually really ruin the rest of the show, Marco.
You
So
did say you were better than Andy,
No pressure,
and
absolutely.
Andy won last stream, so I do think, you know, you owe us a win here, Marco.
El tío está jugando con el volante, ¿eh? Fíjate.
As always, you are on a wheel. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah.
So, I think what we really did this time is actually investing and improving the wheel experience. And what we did is actually improving the handling and focusing on the force feedback code implementation to actually capture more details and create a whole new experience when you're driving with the wheel. And you can tell right now, I literally lost the back end, and the wheel told me immediately, and I could catch the car quite easily. By the way, I'm on simulation steering and traction control off, so just to make it a little bit tougher. And here we are. I can definitely feel everything that this car is doing. I feel connected with the road. I feel every single detail on the ground. And if I put a wheel on the off-road a little bit, oh, there you go. It feels immediately diverse. And that diversity is different across all cars, across all tires. And that's really important. Actually, really expand the experience and the engaging when you're driving with the steering wheel. And now, let's get back to the race, guys, because I'm still sixth, and apparently I've been told I got to win this race, so got to put some effort in it. Oh, here you go, another thing, the braking has massively improved.
El tío la verdad es que lo hace bien, ¿eh? Con el volante, y parece ser que han mejorado mucho, ¿no? El tema del volante, ¿no? Para que la sensación sea de cuando frenas sentir que estás frenando, cuando giras la presión del volante, ¿no? Con el propio asfalto, la han mejorado bastante, parece ser. Y nada, y lo que están comentando es que para conseguir el elogio o conseguir esta parte de la aventura tienen que ganar esta carrera, así que más vale que el tío se ponga las pilas porque va cuarto y tiene que ganarla.
These guys are really giving me a challenge, and
giving you a
I
go,
really need to close the gap. So now I need to focus, guys, because the skyline ahead of me is definitely using some turbos. And I'm on an old-fashioned.
Quiz him, Charlie.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? I'm going to go off a little bit here. I think there are a couple people in chat who are asking, you know, you personally, Marco, if you have a preference of just playing on this camera, because I think some of them would be keen for you to change it. Obviously, I want you to thrive the best way you thrive, but do you have a preference for this camera over the wheel over others?
I do, actually. I do prefer to drive from this camera. I think you have a better indication of what the car is doing, but, you know, I follow many YouTubers. I'm sure they're following us right now. Bye. And yeah, I really actually, I'm impressed how, guys, you drive from follow cam, and yeah, touché.
Está ya acabando la carrera y tiene que adelantar al último, ¿eh? Va a llegar, si no sé yo si lo va a adelantar.
You feel more connected with the car is doing.
Perfect. So you mentioned that,
Está diciendo que le gusta más este tipo de cámara interior porque tiene como más información o sientes más cómo reacciona el coche, ¿no?
Style of the racing and hooning around. So what improvements have you made to off-road handling?
Well, that actually is a very, very big topic. I think higher level, we improved both the suspension and the tires. For the suspension, we actually went to town and improved a lot about the preload spring force, but not only the progressiveness of the damper and the progressiveness of the bump stop as well. We actually
No la ha ganado, ¿eh?
hydraulic bump stop and everything that actually goes in really, really low amount of detail for what concern the suspension for off-roading and rally as well. Another big improvement we've done to the off-road as a whole is actually we're now simulating the interaction with between the tires and all the different surfaces on the ground. That actually massively changed the way tires feel when you're off-road, depending on if you're on slick or if you're on rally tires or if you are on normal radial tires or bias ply. Every single tire's got a different reaction with the ground, and you can totally feel that through the pad, but now with the wheel as well.
Perfect, I love it. And talking of reactions, we did come second then. So what does that mean, guys in the studios? Are we able to progress?
Well,
we had to do a little cheat while they weren't showing the game there, but that's okay.
That's okay. Sorry, guys.
I just wanted to call out.
We are, however, now all good, and we're in a position where we can start our adventure.
Perfect, okay.
So, I think we have a feeling where we want to go. There was a lot of talk about Horizon Apex and road racing. Yeah, so let's talk about how we build an outpost. So we don't just select Horizon Apex here and then it just gets added to the world and all the race events are there. No, what we do is we undertake what we call an expedition towards this festival. So here we go. This expedition for Apex is a Tullum expedition, weather a storm on the road to Tullum. So we're going to start this and we're going to have an expedition become available to us, which we are going to take part in with a little bit of a surprise twist, ideally. But what is an expedition? It's a really nice combination of kind of story and showcase-driven cinematic gameplay where you'll learn...
Vale, ahora van a hacer una exhibición, ¿no? Que es un poco, pues... tiene su lado de aventura, también su lado cinematográfico...
And head back into world.
All right, so we'll leave Marco behind the wheel there.
So Marco's on his way now.
Marco's got to drive about 4 miles to go to the start of the expedition.
It's going to take
that's
a while.
I got tons of things I want to ask before we get there. So one thing I do want to know is, you know, it's a campaign, so you sort of have to ask the question of roughly how long you think the campaign might take for a player to finish. Obviously, I'm incredibly skilled, so I might be really, really quick. But what on average are we looking at?
So,
la duración de la campaña, ¿eh?
So many accolades, and you can do them in parallel, and earning accolades, as we kind of said, they control the speed of your experience. I think giving a really narrow estimate is difficult, but it's going to be somewhere between the 10 and the 20-hour mark for most players. There's 20 chapters to go through, so kind of 20 pieces of content, including the very end, the Hall of Fame, and they should take somewhere between an hour to half an hour each to unlock.
Interesting. Okay, and I want to go back to the accolades very quickly as well. I think it's worth calling out.
Entre 10 y 20 horas completar la campaña, son unos 20 capítulos.
Complete all of those to make it into the Hall of Fame, or is that more of a completionist style play?
Yeah, so you don't have to complete all of them. We don't expect players to complete all of them. Instead, our goal was to give... We wanted to make sure there were a good number of accolades for kind of every Horizon player, regardless of what you're into. So if you're into painting and you don't like a huge amount of the other content in the game, or it's not your kind of favorite, then there are a number of painting accolades. But we don't expect someone who never paints cars, who never kind of uploads designs or anything like that, to want to go and earn those accolades. It's fine if they do earn them. It's fine if you're the Horizon player who does everything, but it's not been designed in that way. You can earn the accolades that you want by doing the gameplay that you want, and that will give you enough currency to progress through the adventure, to reach those new chapters and unlock it in the order that you want.
Vale, sí, que hay suficientes elogios para que todo el mundo pueda avanzar, ¿no? Porque hay, claro, hay elogios en los que son de personalización de vehículos y tal. Claro, hay mucha gente que eso no lo hace. Entonces, claro, si pasarte la campaña dependiera de eso, pues claro, mucha gente se quedaría atrás. Y lo que no quieren es eso. Por eso han puesto muchos elogios para que cada persona se pueda pasar la campaña haciendo lo que le gusta. Que no se vea obligado a hacer algo que no le gusta.
Win all of this kind of piece of content over here, and you're like 90% of the way through, and that's like a really easy decision at that point.
Lovely. And I have to ask as well, going back to the exhibitions as well, what was the thought process behind sort of making those? Obviously, in the last one in fall, we had showcases and remixes and stuff like that. But this is obviously a natural step up from that. So what was it like working on the exhibitions?
That is an interesting question.
It stemmed from Mexico, didn't it? It was when we settled on Mexico as the host location. When you go and sounds a bit silly, when you go and look at the tourist board website for Mexico, they really sell this idea of going on an adventure and going exploring and going and living your next adventure in Mexico. That is a thing that Mexico as a country, Mexican people are really, really proud of about their country. And that was an experience that we thought, how can we recreate that in the game? And we thought, well, we start off in one place of Mexico and we can kind of have people live out those adventures as they venture out into those different parts of Mexico. So yeah, there's a little bit of showcase in there. There's a little bit of Horizon story in there, but they are really their own brand new thing. And they are one of the most exciting bits of gameplay we've ever had. What's more fun about it as well is that, as with everything in the Horizon campaign, you can play it in co-op. And we're going to try and do that right now, which any game developers watching this right now will realize that attempting to do co-op online gameplay months before ship in development servers is high risk. But here we go. Ben, I've invited you to a convoy if you want to join along.
Vale, ahora van a jugar la campaña en cooperativo. Perdón. Van a jugar la campaña en cooperativa, que bueno, que eso es algo que ya se podía en los Forza. Forza Horizon 3 y Forza Horizon 4 lo tenía, el tema del cooperativo, así que en este Forza Horizon 5 no va a ser menos. Y parece ser que ahora pues van a jugar entre ellos.
All content in the game is playable in co-op, all campaign content at least. And unlike in Horizon 4, where getting into co-op with your buddies had some hurdles that you had to overcome in order to get there. We've really tried to make it so that you can play online, you can get into those online sessions as early in the game as possible. So you complete the initial drive that was on last stream, you complete that first showcase event, there's one Horizon story chapter you have to do after that, and then you're connected, you're playing online, you can team with your friends. It takes about, I guess that's about 25 minutes, maybe even a bit less than that. And then you're teamed up, and from that point, you can team up with your buddies and take on the entire rest of the game together, including an expedition, as we are about to do right now.
Vale, sí, que al principio de la campaña, cuando empiezas el juego, hay unos 20-25 minutos del juego que vas solo, pero que una vez pasas esa barrera, pues ya puedes invitar ya a tus amigos y todo y pasarte la campaña en cooperativo.
Here we go. Oh God.
Away we go.
Away we go, yes.
Now we're all going to have to pay close attention now, and there's...
Yeah, I'm listening.
I think for the most part, we're probably going to shut up for this and let the game do the talking.
I know just the spot to expand the festival, but the path takes us through the deepest part of the jungle. Do you trust me?
Of course. Wait, why would I not?
Then follow the road. I will guide you from the air. And pray the weather holds.
Vale, están en cooperativo, ¿eh? No sé si os fijáis, hay 3 coches.
I love the chat.
y la misión es, sigue la ruta hasta dentro de la tormenta, ¿eh? O sea, ojito cuidado con esta misión, ¿eh? Tiene pintaza. El coche tiene delante es Mike, porque pone Let's Go Mike, así que guay. Mira el avión, qué guapo, tío.
Oh, no, 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 no. Absolutely. I saw that, Marco.
Touchdown.
Yeah, yeah.
Ramiro, are you okay?
Never better. Any landing you walk away from is a good one. I'm down next to some kind of flooded temple. I'll send them a flare. No one's
Qué ganas tengo de ver cómo se festejó en la Xbox y verlo yo en tiempo real, porque qué pinta tiene. Tío.
you, Ramiro Luis Mirón, and the Horizon Festival.
Hey, Rami, I think I'm gonna take a look around. Find somewhere to put the beacon.
Do not let me interrupt your Mesoamerican history lesson, my friend. You can come and get me when you're ready.
Hostia, esto es de la historia,
So this bit drops the pace a little now. So that first bit was obviously quite high octane. We were chasing Rami in his plane. We were heading out towards the jungles, but we found this ancient ruins site now, and we're heading out to have a little bit of a little moment to explore, to soak it in, to see what secrets we can find.
This has been here.
Ahora hay que explorar el lugar, encontrar ciertas cosas y
You
tal,
guys
parece
also know
ser.
that this is one of the ruins we went through in one of the very early episodes of these live streams as well.
And transmitting. Work.
Yeah,
Now
so
at
we've got
least
that list
someone
of
knows
challenges
where
on
we
the side
are.
of the screen there. They are optional. You don't have to do them if you just want to blast through and get back to the drive. But it's definitely more fun if you do it.
Absolutely.
So I've found the photo point, guys. If you want to come over and we'll all pose.
Found the golden statue.
Oh, I want to join in.
I mean, this is actually 6-player co-op, Charlie. So if you were in the
Maybe next
building, yeah, we
time.
could have done it. We
Maybe
could have
next
handed you
time
a
we'll
pad.
fashion away because I've not played yet and I'm absolutely desperate.
Ya se van a hacer una foto, ¿no?
I'll take photo.
You want me to go through photo mode to take it?
Yeah, yeah.
We lined up nicely. Oh no, Marco's
Marco's
Do it.
he's
he's struggling.
doing his own
Struggling,
thing.
guys, it's not that easy.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
Let's get this lined up nicely. One to remember the
Oh,
stream.
look at that.
Ah, mira, y ahí están las cosas estas de fotografiar cosas que te dan puntos también.
We should clarify that you should definitely not read anything into that number on screen right now.
Mhm.
That is very much from a dev build and not a thing that you should read too much into.
Okay.
Right, let's have an explore around. We need to get to the top of the central ruin.
This music's stunning, by the way. The atmosphere that it's building is so nice.
Wow, Rami. I think I found one of the statues.
Don't touch it. It's very
I
powerful.
think we found another. My buddies, however, are elsewhere, so
Are you not? I thought you wanted to get to the top of the central ruin. That's what you said. So
I
I'm here,
did,
I'm
I
waiting
did,
for
I
you.
did, and then shiny things, Mike. Shiny things in the corner of my eye. You can't not go for shiny things. Oh, it told me to take a picture. Here we
Qué
go.
guapo, Está la
Just
zona
working
esta de
from the
ruinas,
top.
tío.
Oh, that was
Muy chulo.
Oh,
From
very
Total.
nice.
Mira, eso era otra misión, ¿no? La de saltar.
Check it out later.
No, la de saltar no, la de alcanzar el punto más alto de la torre central, creo que pone.
Very good. Nicely done, everyone.
Here we go.
And it is not over yet.
So what's the next step then? Where do we go from here?
So we're collecting Rami, as we saw earlier on. If you pick up the feed, guys, isn't it? The Rami had to take an emergency landing. We had to then go. We kept him waiting a little bit while we explored the temples, but yeah, we went and picked him up, and we carry
Ooh.
on. I'm sure they'll be fine. That's nothing to worry about.
It's nothing for these cars, is it?
So we accidentally fell through that hole. We've landed in this little cave, this little cenote.
Yeah.
Qué pasada, el modo historia. Me está molando mucho el tema
Look around before,
de las exhibiciones, de las aventuras y eso. Fijaros,
It's not a race, it's absolutely a race.
Tiene muchísimas cositas que hacer. No, es la primera vez, creo. No recuerdo yo que el Forza Horizon 3 y el 4 tuvieran este tipo de misiones así.
This is a recipe for disaster.
You should just follow us. You should just stop being so slow. And
If you can see each other, this storm is intimidating.
It's great, isn't it? All the foliage
So
blowing
good.
across the screen. I think we saw some lightning strikes.
my goodness me.
Correct. I hope you like fun, my friend.
Couldn't like it more. Let's do this.
Hold on.
Y está muy guapo el ir con tus colegas, por ahí, haciendo las misiones y eso está muy chulo.
Can I see those photos? Yes, I want to see. I really want to see them.
Y si os fijáis también, los mensajes de arriba, esos son mensajes rápidos que creo que puedes enviar con la cruceta o algo así.
That lightning is going to make me jump every time I see it. In real life, I'm not a big fan of lightning, but that is so visceral and just right in front of you. It's so cool.
Clouds are breaking. Keep pushing. We're through the worst of it now. Tsuzumi's just around the corner. Welcome to beautiful.
There it is. You get that
We made it.
beautiful view of Tulum.
Thanks to the weather.
Oh, wow.
You're right. But
And
now
go
these
left.
beaches look beautiful.
And there we go.
We have arrived.
You know, I think this will be the perfect spot.
I think you're right, my friend.
Easy to forget the
I
reason we did
also-
Ahí
this.
lo tienes.
Open a new
Y han
festival.
completado todas las misiones y eso, y pues bueno, le dan todos los puntitos.
Help us on the way to the next section. Ooh, and a new car.
Oh, un coche.
Here we go.
You made it! No thanks to Ramiro, no?
That plane. I love the plane. That was incredible. That was so... I see what you mean about it being like a step up from the showcase, isn't it? Just being so much more than that.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about expeditions as well is that they are all completely different from one another. Each time you set on one, we're not going to spoil any of them right now, but each time you set on one, it's like you really have no idea what to expect. They're full of surprises, full of just absolute wow moments.
Eso mola, tío. Habrá muchas exhibiciones de este rollo, ¿no? Y que serán muy distintas entre sí. Eso mola un huevo, tú, este tipo de misiones.
Got that first one sort of wet.
Mola
to
un
advertise.
huevo.
So what's, is Marco up to something now then? Are we seeing anything else?
Yeah, I think we are now. So the reason we did that expedition was to build Horizon Apex. The reason we want to build Horizon Apex is we want
El
to
ápice
unlock a
del
whole
Horizon.
load of new road racing events and lead towards all of the kind of stories, showcases, finales that Horizon Apex comes with. So we've previously had a look at accolades in the road racing category. Why don't we, should we
Sí.
head back there and have a look at what's been unlocked, or should we go through the map? Because the two kind of ways you can play the campaign, really.
I think we should go through the map for now.
All right.
For now.
I know of a really nice circuit up on the east coast that I think we should go and find.
All right.
So
I think you've got control of Marco's
I
map,
do.
so,
I was looking at you thinking you have control, Mike, but I've got control. Right. I will.
Ahora van a ir a un circuito por la costa.
Drive us along the way.
All right.
Perfect. I've also got more questions to ask. For
Juegas con
Marco
el
about
Corvette
this
ese,
wheel
¿sabes?
as well.
La
Specifically,
Virgen.
you know, you said that that's your desk, that you live in it. I feel like you're the expert to answer this question, but has the wheel experience and force feedback been improved?
Yes, it has definitely been improved, and it has improved as a consequence of working on the force feedback itself, but also looking at all the micro details that we were missing in terms of calculation of force feedback, and now we definitely like improved a lot in terms of what you feel through your hands. For example, now I'm driving on the asphalt right here, and while the surface actually feels a little bit bumpy, you can also feel some bumpiness coming through the wheel as well, because all the micro oscillation happening on the tire that gets transferred into the steering rack. That is actually really cool. It actually makes you feel connected with the road. But not only,
También están haciendo mucho
the
hincapié en
force
eso, en cómo se
distributed on
siente
the
la
wheel,
conducción, que parece ser que lo han
all the
mejorado
alignment
mucho en el tema de
torque, so I can
suspensiones,
definitely feel
tema
what
de
the car is
neumáticos,
doing,
tema de
if
cómo
I'm
se siente el
heading
coche sobre el
understeer,
asfalto,
oversteer.
tema de
Everything feels so
adherencia, ¿no?
natural and
Parece
intuitive
ser
and
que
engaging
están
to
haciendo
drive
mucho
with the
hincapié
wheel
también en
now.
eso, que parece ser que lo han mejorado un
Amazing. I
huevo.
love it. I mean, we also, you're probably the guy to answer this question as well.
Por
We
supuesto,
also
todo esto lo
recently
notarán
unveiled
más
the
con un volante, que
Mercedes
es como
AMG,
está
and has
él, ¿no?
multiple
Que está con un
driving
volante.
modes. So I want to know what they do to the car, and if you can share a bit more insight into that.
So the driving mode is is really, really complex, but basically what we've done is actually mimicking everything that's happening on the real car. So when you change in the mode, you can basically switch from proper downforce, biting, grip, with the correct front aero balance on the car to a more relaxed cruising experience into the driving mode that you can switch to. That happens actually.
Están hablando del Mercedes AMG, que parece ser que tendrá varias, o no sé si varias o dos, un par de modos de conducción, un modo de conducción más agresiva, más para competir, y un modo de conducción más para conducir, para moverte por el mapa y eso. Y que cada modo de conducción se notará en el coche, es decir, no es simple apariencia, se notará, están comentando.
Dare you guys, by the way, we've been going for 40 minutes. I wondered if you could just let people know who have just joined chat how you have actually improved and overhauled the brake system.
Yes, so
whilst also trying to win this race. Simple job, I'm sure. I know, really grilling you, aren't I?
Speaking of brakes, anyway, no, the way the brake system has improved is actually now we looking at the brake system itself. As I said before, we have now like a more data-driven calculation for the brake system as a separate entity. It's like its own entity rather than calculating the grip as a result of the grip of the car, if you see what I mean. So, as a consequence,
están hablando del tema de la simulación, O sea, están hablando ya de temas más de simulación de conducción y eso. Ahora están hablando de que parece ser que los frenos serán, por así decirlo, entidades independientes y de que se podrán modificar, creo, o cosas así. Yo es que ya te digo, el tema de simulación no entiendo tanto. Pero si os interesa, pues oye, seguro que lo entendéis.
The brake distance, you can ease off the brake and actually use the trail braking to let the car rotate a little bit more in towards the corner, and it's just better overall, and it feels nice, it's more fun, it's more authentic. So yeah, absolutely.
And you're making it look very good as well.
Now I'm trying to win as well. So
I mean, Michael, Ben, can we get a little bit of context on what this race is that we're doing here, where it is on the map, also if anyone else has just joined us?
Yeah, so this is the Playa Azul circuit. It's just a little bit north of the festival that we just opened out on the east coast. It just cuts through the little village of Playa Azul here. It's this real tropical paradise out on the east coast of the map. It's an absolutely beautiful place. Now, how much does this just look like that? A perfect holiday resort. It's got a really great.
Y qué bonita, la zona. Están hablando ahora de la zona de esta carrera, que es una zona más costera. Muy bonita, la verdad.
I put him in the super as well, which you might not have been expecting, but
wasn't expecting that, yeah.
El tío del volante se está regalando que flipas, O sea, el tío del volante está regalándose muy fuerte,
And then I can add to that. Kind of Mike spoke about where this is geographically.
Se me ha movido esto un poquito. A ver ahora.
How beautiful it is and how fun it is to drive. Completely agree with all that. And in terms of gameplay,
Lo que se me ha movido, no lo entiendo.
The fruits of the fact that we did the expedition and opened the new festival outpost, and it was road racing, and this is a new
No sé,
road racing event that we've
se corta un poco ahora ahí el chat, no sé por qué motivo. A ver un momento.
I think that's the thing I'm the most excited about. I mean, as someone who is very much trying to get to the finish line
Vale.
of Forza Horizon 4,
Cosas del directo,
which,
chavales.
by the way, guys, happy to report I only have 8 achievements left in the whole game, and the drift ones are nearly done. I'm getting there. The idea of actually having a whole new map, but also with the addition of these accolades, it feels like I'm going to get this game delivered to me on November 9th.
Está haciendo el resumen un poco de la historia es los elogios, que tendremos un montón, ¿no? Para desbloquear, que nos darán puntos y dinero para seguir con la aventura. Luego tendremos como diferentes boletos, diferentes campañas, diferentes festivales, ¿no? Que tendremos que ir completando ciertas misiones. Y son 20 capítulos, ¿no? Que tendremos que ir completándolos. En cada uno de los festivales habrán exhibiciones, que son unas misiones como de modo más campaña, con más lado cinematográfico y eso. Y luego, por supuesto, tenemos todo el mapa abierto para ir haciendo carreras o lo que nosotros queramos. Y también han dicho que la campaña será de 10-20 horas, dependiendo de, oye, de cómo
Wonderful.
vayas.
That was
No, that's
all.
right.
También puede
Yeah,
ser de
go on,
más,
crack
porque
on
claro,
then.
si
What
tú
you
en cada
saying?
carrera te haces primero un
I was
contrarreloj,
talking
pues
about,
se
as I
te
talked
alarga
about,
más,
snack
¿no?
little campaign.
Depende
Yes,
de
that
cómo
campaign.
Yeah.
juegues
Earn a
tú,
few accolades
básicamente.
from completing and winning a race, or you can
Pero
sit there
eso,
and you can
10-20
decide, like
horas
you were
de
saying,
campaña. Luego todo
Charlie,
lo que te
about you've
ofrece el
got a
Forza
handful of
Horizon, que
achievements
son
left,
horas
and you're going to
infinitas de
complete
juego, como,
everything. You
como
can look
todos
at
los
each
juegos,
player
vaya.
category, like racing or kind of skills and stunts, and decide that's what I'm finishing this weekend, and I'm just going to sit down and kind of steadily go through them all. That might happen after you've hit the Hall of Fame. I think that's probably the way I would recommend that people play through the game.
Yeah. Horizon 5, like Horizon 4, is a massive game with absolutely tons of features and content. And honestly, we don't really expect any one player to do it all. That isn't really how we make
I
the game.
will. Watch this
Well, I
space.
hope you do, Charlie. I mean, I probably will as well. But it's a regular player who's just downloaded it on Game Pass. We don't expect you to be sinking hundreds of hours necessarily to complete every single accolade in the game. But what we do hope is that every time you do play the game, even if it's only for 10 to 20 minutes, that you feel like you were rewarded. You had a really nice piece of gameplay that was really fun, enjoyable. You felt you get some progress. You unlocked something new. You had a little bit of progress towards the next goal that you're working towards. I think a lot of games can, when they are massive games, can be quite intimidating. They can feel like you've really got to sink hours and hours into them to make any kind of progress. And we really try and build a campaign that, yeah, you can sink hours and hours into it and make a load of progress, but you will also get that reward if you're just playing for 15 minutes as well, if I can get my words out.
Now, I think this is a really good segue, actually, talking about progress. So we've touched on the campaign. We've seen literally a couple thousand of the accolades that you have at the moment. And we've even dived into some Horizon Festival sites.
El
But
tema
I
de los
wanted to
elogios va a
bring
alargar
up
mucho la
what
experiencia,
car
porque habrá gente
collection
que
screen.
querrá
Before we
sacar
move on to
elogios
Q&As, a
y
reminder, we are
pocos
doing
no
some
hay.
Q&As,
Como
so
han
make
dicho,
sure
hay
your questions
miles de
are in chat
elogios, o
now
sea
if
que
they
ojo,
aren't
cuidado,
already.
eh.
So what is the car collection screen?
Before we go, any questions for Marco? Throw them at him. Any physics questions,
Yes.
handling questions, anything
Get
at
him.
all? Go deep as you like. So we are now looking at the car collection. So as we think about the campaign, we've talked about the kind of initial experience, the accolades, the adventure. All of that stuff carries you through the game.
Esa es la tienda de coches.
To hour 10. But as I just mentioned, some people are going to play the game for hundreds of hours. Some people are going to set out to try and unlock all of the hundreds of cars that are available in Forza Horizon 5. And for those people, the car collection is the perfect place for them. You're getting a look at it now. It feels a bit like a sticker book or card collection. Each
That's the
car,
great
Es
vibe,
como un álbum de
actually.
pegatinas, es verdad. Es lo que están comentando.
Each car is represented by one of these little cards, and as you add that car to your garage, you'll see it flip over and get added into your collection. Each of the manufacturers as well also has a reward associated with it. We'll skip past it now, but with Nissan, for completing all of the Nissans, there was an exclusive Nissan that you can unlock for completing them all. We're now looking at Porsche.
Vale, sí, que cada vez que vayas completando los Nissan, pues te dan un coche, pues, yo que sé, mejor, ¿no? Y un poco es como una motivación a que tú también consigas todos los coches, ¿no? Desbloquear todos los coches. Es que es lo que dicen, que si te empeñas a querer conseguirlo todo, son cientos de horas, ¿eh?
As I say, this is it's a lot of fun throughout the game, but it really comes into its own really late game. Once you've sunk in loads of hours and you've got loads of cars already, you go into this screen.
¿Veis? Cuando compra un coche, pues se da la vuelta, pam, y se muestra, como si fueran cromos de un álbum, ¿no?
And then, for doing so, you get yourself a Forza Edition 911.
Wonderful, very good. And I have to ask, because I'm certain chat is... Yeah, I was going to say, but one very important one here, actually, because the chat, I can just see at the corner where it's burning at me. Fans have obviously been very, very eager to see a car list. So is there any update on when you'll actually be able to share that?
Sure, yes. So obviously you just got to see a load of cars there, and I'm sure everybody will be scrubbing back through that and scribbling down for their notes. Another place you can go to find out about cars that are coming to the game is our social channels. So you can go to @Forza Horizon on Twitter and @Forza Horizon Official on Instagram. You go there right now. I think we're dropping updates today.
Vale, en Twitter e Instagram pues darán los detalles de los coches que estarán, ¿no? La lista completa de coches.
Check our socials, check out these streams. That's where you'll find out all the latest information on the cars that are coming to the game. But it is my understanding that a lot of cars are about to be announced over on those social channels. So check those
well, there you go,
today.
everyone. Perfect. Right. So now is for arguably my favorite part of the stream, because the questions you guys are asked.
Perfecto, pues lo vamos a dejar por aquí porque ahora vendrían lo que ahora pues van a hacer básicamente el tema de las preguntas de la comunidad, que bueno, tampoco hace falta. Lo que más me interesaba era ver sobre todo el gameplay y que me explicaran un poquito el tema de la campaña, que tiene, la verdad, que buena pinta. O sea, el concepto a mí me gusta, no sé vosotros si os ha gustado o no. A mí el concepto me gusta, la campaña. Pero bueno, eso es por supuesto mi opinión, así que espero que tú me dejes la tuya en los comentarios. ¿Qué opinas de todo lo que se ha mostrado en este nuevo Let's Go de Forza Horizon, el número 7? Quiero que me dejes tus comentarios, por supuesto, y lo de siempre, suscribiros, seguirme en Twitter, uniros a, oh, joder, de verdad, no sé si son las horas de la noche o qué, uniros a mi canal de Discord. Podéis hacer un miembro por 0,99 y darle a me gusta, lo más importante. Todo lo tenéis en la descripción, así que ir y le echéis un ojo. Señores, nos vemos en otro vídeo. Hasta luego.